This meeting of the Senate Judiciary Committee will come to order. Two days ago, last Sunday, was a day of family celebration for me. My 3-year-old granddaughter celebrated her birthday the same week as her sister, 10 years old. We had a lot of fun. The family got together, cakes, gifts, a lot of jokes and laughing, a lot of selfies, a lot of good memories. I reflected on that last night. My 10-year-old would have been a fourth grader, is a fourth grader in Chicago. She would have been just the appropriate age to be in Uvalde, Texas at that elementary school yesterday. Yesterday, 19 little girls and boys, just like my granddaughter, did not come home from school. And 2 teachers lost their lives. Some shooter managed to buy at age 18 2 semi-automatic weapons and to turn them into killing machines, killing innocent children in the classroom. I wish I could say, well, that's never happened before in America, but we know better. There have been 24 shootings in K through 12 campuses in America this year. This year. 28 kids so far have died. And of course, we know, sadly, that that's not the end of the story by a long shot. Yesterday at the Robb Elementary School, 19 children, 2 teachers, shot and killed. 19 children who will never grow up to have another birthday. And 2 teachers killed just doing their job and protecting the kids. Another day in America, another mass shooting. It is devastating that this kind of mass shooting can happen here. It is unconscionable that it happens over and over. It is unforgivable that we as leaders have come to the point where we mouth words and do nothing. Of course, our prayers go out to the victims and their loved ones. Our thanks go to the first responders, as they always do, several of whom reportedly were fired upon themselves. Prayers and thanks, and then we return to our normal lives and wait for the next gun tragedy, which we know is coming. After every horrific shooting, there's a debate over whether one reform or another could have prevented it. That debate misses the point. It's too late to prevent the last shooting. We've already failed those victims and families. We need to act to prevent the next shooting. We need to identify the risks and threats and finally do something. This is the Senate Judiciary Committee. I'm proud to chair it. This committee has the jurisdiction under the rules of the Senate to consider the measures that could make this a safer America. Making sure you can't get a gun without passing a background check is just common sense. And the overwhelming majority of Americans and gun owners support it. It won't prevent every shooting, but it will prevent many. Last night, the Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, filed a Rule 14 on a background check bill. We're going to have a chance to debate that and to vote on it on the floor when we return from Memorial Day. The House of Representatives already passed a bill on this. I think it's time for the Senate to vote on it. It takes bipartisanship to pass anything in the United States Senate, in an evenly divided Senate. But we should vote. That's why we were elected. Today, we're holding a hearing on a nominee to head the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency, the lead federal law enforcement agency when it comes to responding to gun crimes. This is an agency which has the technical capacity to help us to solve gun crimes and to keep guns out of the hands of people who shouldn't have them. Do you know when the last time was that there was a head of this agency? Somebody actually named to head the agency? 7 years ago. Under the previous president, this spot went vacant for 4 years. Why? Because the gun groups want it to go vacant. They don't want a strong agency doing its job. And they had their way. We have a well-qualified nominee in Steve Dettelbach, who's here today. He spent 7 years as a U.S. attorney in Cleveland. His nomination is supported by a long list of law enforcement. I won't read all of them, but trust me, they encompass the major law enforcement groups across America. They support Steve Dettelbach to head the ATF. In addition, he has the backing of a bipartisan group of 141 former Justice Department officials, including several Trump appointees who won unanimous Republican support in the Senate, and the support of 8 former directors and acting directors of ATF, including Bradley Buckles, who served as director from 1999 to 2004. This overwhelming support for Mr. Dettelbach is a recognition of his capabilities and experience, but also of the need to do something to address gun crimes. It's high time for the Senate to do this, to confirm an ATF director, not to take guns away from responsible, stable, qualified, law-abiding Americans, but to help stop straw purchases, combat gun trafficking, ensure that families can send their kids to school safely, and law enforcement officers can return home each day to their loving families. This committee will treat this nomination with urgency it deserves and give Mr. Dettelbach prompt consideration and a vote. We also will hear from 4 other nominees: Judge Sarah Miriam, nominated to the Second Circuit; Laura Montecalvo, nominated to the First Circuit; Tiffany Cartwright, nominated to the Western District of Washington; and Judge Nina Wong, nominated to the District of Colorado. A number of our colleagues are going to be coming and going. They have other committee hearings. We understand their schedules are busy to formally introduce their nominees. But I will also like to turn at this point to my friend and the ranking Republican, Senator Grassley.